let's talk about the cool stuff, the real stuff. And I'm gonna send it to Ilan on the top right, or I'm sorry, on the top left, because like I said, I got to play Tekken 8, and he noted down most of it. So here you go. Hey, you didn't fuck up the transition this time. Good job there, guy. What's up, guys? I'm Ilan on the top left. Let's talk about Tekken 8, shall we? Tekken 8, for those of you that don't know, at EVO Japan, at the mix-up and at Combo Breaker, they had closed alpha tests where you had to win a lottery to go play. I fortunately won the lottery to go play at Combo Breaker, and that is where they announced that that was the last alpha test, location alpha test that they were going to do. And then on Monday, everybody saw on the stream database that there is a CNT, a closed network test for Tekken 8 that got uploaded to Steam. So that's the next phase. Well, we don't know any information about it. We don't know any information about it, whether that CNT is going to happen now or later, but it's up on Steam. I'd like to do it sooner rather than later, but we'll see. You're so mad you wanted to try it at CEO. Dude, I get it, man. And I'll tell you, that's a game you want to play. Tekken 8 is... So here's how this whole thing worked. It almost seemed a little shady when it first started, right? Because they had a table outside of the venue. Like, for those of you that have been to Combo Breaker, to the Renaissance at Schaumburg, it was outside of the convention center. Or, yeah, because, like, the convention center is one gigantic room, and then you go outside, and it's, like, where the artist alley stuff, and then if you go all the way to the corner right before you leave the building, there's, like, one little hallway there. That's where the Tekken 8 stuff was. They were, like, in the back corner, like, hidden away. It was a little bit weird. So you show up, you scan a QR code, and they see that you won, and then they put you in for a time slot. And then they give you a little card, and they tell you to come back during your time slot. It's like between, it's like a 3-hour gap that you could just show up and you can play. So mine turned out to be right when my Street Fighter V pool was going on. So I ditched my Street Fighter V pool. And you go up, and there's like a dude like sitting there, kind of like security, like a bouncer, and you give him the card, and he like looks you up and down, and then he goes, all right. And then you go in, they take you through like these like hallways, like offices in the back of the convention center. It's like very shady, very weird. And then you go into a room where there's like 5 setups, and it's like you have 10 people, right? They paired me up with someone before I went in. When we were in there, they had like little egg timers underneath every monitor. And they set the egg timers for 25 minutes. And I was like, fuck, 25 minutes? What the hell can I... Like, I don't even think I can enjoy a game for playing it for the first time in 25 minutes. Boy, was I wrong. And here's why. Tekken 8 is fast. It is so fucking fast. Think about the difference between Street Fighter 2 and Super Turbo. That's the difference between Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. You are making so many more decisions so much faster. Like, everything that you do is so fucking quick, right? The fact that a lot of the more punishable stuff is... like a lot of the stuff in Tekken 7 that is hella punishable, or like anytime you take a risk, like whatever the risk aversion is, has been toned down. So it gives you more incentive to be more active. Is the running only rumor true? I don't think so. I don't think I ran. I can't remember. So I only played Jack because I didn't know how to play any other character, right? I played Dragunov and Leroy. Leroy was not available in the game yet. Dragunov hasn't even been announced in Tekken 8 if he's going to be in it. So I played Jack, and Jack is... So I forget who said it, but it's basically like Tekken 7 on crack, because Jack's game plan is exactly the same. Down back 2 or jackhammer, right? But they had these giant cards, like 8x11 cards with all of like the important stuff, like the heat engagers, the like sample combos, sample launcher combos, and all that other stuff. They had it all written down. Forward walking is still there. Squidly, yeah. I forward walked a lot. That I can 100% Confirm. Um, so with the heat system, they made it so that like whenever you use an important tool of your character, if you get a hit with it, it activates, right? And whenever you activate heat, where like you saw like in the Brian trailer, like when he hits Paul and then Paul doubles over and Brian runs towards them, it's not a combo. It's not a combo. It's a reset. Like it's a reset situation where the person who activated heat has hella advantage. So essentially, whoever got hit by the heat thing, you gotta block a mix up, right? You gotta block a mix up, or you gotta do something that's invincible, which I think is super interesting. Yeah, the movement is exactly like Tekken 7 to a T. It's just faster, right? It's a lot snappier. And that's something I never thought I would say about a Tekken game. It feels super snappy. Like as soon as you hit a button, it's like pow. Like whenever I was hitting like down back 2, it was just like it was so fast. Jack's new stance is like a Gigas stance, or more like the way I compared it to was like Zangief V Skill 1, because he goes like this and he gets armor, and then he has follow-ups off of it, and he has a punch follow-up, a kick follow-up, and a grab follow-up. So that shit was super cool. He even has like heat engagers off of it, which is really neat. And shout out to the person I was playing with. I don't know their name, I forget, but like we played a couple of matches of just mashing buttons, and then like we stopped and we were like, hey, let's try some shit. So like we learned like their sample combos that they had. We learned the heat engagers. Paul, apparently Paul, it works a little bit differently, right? Because Paul had the back sway. I think my opponent, the person I was playing with, said that the sway works a little bit differently. But then he also said that he plays on a different gate than the sticks that were there, because they had Comba Titans up on the setups. So I didn't want to like unplug something to plug in my own stick, because that was just going to waste time. So I don't know whether my opponent was having issues with the gate or whether things work differently or not. Magic 4s no longer work. You just get knocked down. You just crumple over and you get knocked down. You don't get a launcher combo like you used to. A lot of lows that used to knock down and give you launchers no longer do so. So for example, if Dragunov comes back, I can imagine his down 2 just being like a regular, like being like a Jack down back 2, right? And the thing I found super interesting is there wasn't enough information, right? So like every time we did activate heat mode, like I didn't know what was going on. Like I don't know what Jack gained, and I tried a couple of different things and never quite found it. And I think we knew what my opponent's stuff was because they showed Paul off, right? Like with Paul, he has guard breaks and he does a lot more chip when he's in heat mode. The thing that I found very interesting is this. There are times where I activated heat mode without knowing I was going to do it, right? I was literally like just going for a punish, and then all of a sudden I'm in heat mode. It's like, oh, shit. There were a lot of other times where I wanted to activate heat mode, but I kept forgetting the input. I also like barely used the heat smash, but the heat smash is basically like a combo ender that you can use, and that like takes the rest of your meter away, and it gives you like a really high damage. But yeah, the thing that took me by surprise the most was just how snappy the game felt, how fast the game was, and how beautiful the game is. The one worry everybody, including myself, had is with all of the new particle effects, with all of the new shit, right, that it was going to deter from the game itself. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, I didn't even notice it was there. And it wasn't until I was watching someone else play that I was like, oh, shit. Like all of the hit sparks fit right in. All of the crazy explosions fit right in, and it doesn't deter from the gameplay. It's super cool. And they were all running on PlayStation 5s. It was all running on PlayStation 5s, and it felt really, really fucking good. So if there is like a display delay with the setups that we had, then if like we get that to an even lower delay, then that game is going to be even snappier and even crazier, right? But all in all, I think the takeaway from Tekken 8 that I had was going to a tournament for a Tekken 7 is already exhausting, right? In the sense that when you're playing Tekken 7, you have to be tuned in like 100%, 100,000%. You can't just play half-assedly. Because as soon as you lose focus, your opponent's going to know, right? And you have to make a lot of decisions all of the time. In Tekken 8, that's tripled. So you're making 3 times as many decisions in 3 times as fast of the time, right? And when I first hopped in, they gave us 25 minutes. We played to a point that I was exhausted. And we still had 5 minutes to go, right? Like, it got to a point where I was like, holy shit. Like, I just had to, like, take a breath, right? It, like, the game is, like, they somehow managed to make the game feel, like, super high octane, which in a fighting game, I think is something that I think will be very welcome, right? Because the difficulty with fighting games is you have to, like, hold back the beast, right? You have to be very patient. You have to hold it back. You can't really, like, overextend. You can't really, like, fuck it up. In Tekken, like, they want you to do this shit, right? So, like, they want you to, like, completely, like, go into it. Speak for yourself. Fuck you. Like, I think that's going to be a very welcome change. And it's going to be super interesting to see how this works as a tournament game because of just how crazy this game is. And with that said, I was kind of worried about the whole concept of, we want everybody to play super aggressive, so you can't play like you normally would. You can still play Tekken, right? You can still turtle. I was doing it, and it's perfectly fine. Yeah, you eat a little bit of chip, and you eat a little bit of gray life, but as soon as you get that punish, you gain it all back, right? So you can still play Tekken very defensively, and I think that is something that is super interesting. It really is just like boxing. You just got to pick your spots, man. You just really got to pick your spots. That's what I find very interesting about the game. Dick jabs kind of don't work anymore, from what I saw, right? Because the game moves so much faster, like, dick jabs just don't feel like a worthwhile tool. They don't show that much in trailers. Yeah, like, even the gameplay stuff, like, it's just not worth doing because you have so many other tools that you can use that take place of the down ones that it almost doesn't matter. So, like, something that they really try to get you to use are power crushes, right? I think instead of doing down ones, a lot of people are going to be replacing down ones with power crushes. I think that's what's going to be the big shift, if you will. The down ones no longer seem like a viable strategy. I think power crushes are going to take place of that. The other thing I tried, and I'm glad I just remembered about this. The other thing I tried is the simplified input mode. The simplified input mode just makes it seem like you're playing something like Devil May Cry. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. It genuinely seems like you're just playing like an action-adventure game where, like, you know, you have, like, square is light, triangle is heavy, and circle is kick. And then you just, like, go around and, like, click buttons and do cool shit. Like, that's genuinely what that made me think of. And it's so cool. The fact that you can activate it and deactivate it was super neat because, like, at some times, like, I would get a launcher punish and then I would just activate it and just mash triangle because that was the air combo. And it would do a full combo. It was super cool. It was very interesting. It's definitely not an optimal combo, so definitely not going to be feasible on a competitive level, but fucking hell, fucking cool nonetheless. It's just a different way to play the game. It's just a different way to play the game. If Machete would give you the 10 hit, that would be really funny. That would also force everybody to learn everybody's 10 hit. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about Tekken 8 that I haven't addressed? Let me know, and I can answer them as far as from a gameplay perspective. But after everything, they had us fill out a survey, which was like, what did you think of this? What did you think of that? Blah, 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 blah. So we filled out that survey. It took forever. And then they gave us the lanyard. And then they just made us like go out of a door that put us like somewhere in the convention center. I don't even remember where. It's very interesting. But yeah, even in the YouTube comments, if you're watching there on YouTube, if you guys got any questions about Tekken 8, post them in the comments. I'll answer them. I look at YouTube comments a lot because I have nothing else better to do. So talk to me, please. Yeah, the game UI is just exactly what you've seen, where it's character portrait, life bar, and then the heat bar underneath it, and the heat bar completely goes away once you use it up.